Alright, welcome to the week 3 video, week 2. This is week 3 of the season. We're reviewing week 2. Not as many clips as last week to get through, but we do have a lot. And a lot of stuff. Some that are repeated last week, and we'll have some stuff that we went over in the camps, and we're actually going to get to show you. So, that's always cool. So, we're going to start with just a basic incomplete or fumble. I said basic, we all know they're hard to call. We get the incomplete call there. End zone angle, we see we're right. Here you see the arm coming forward. And when that arm is coming forward, the ball is still in his hand. So that's a good call for incomplete pass. If there's doubt, we want to go with incomplete. But it looks like it was pretty obvious to be an incomplete pass. One thing to be careful of, if we're going to call this incomplete, I know it's going to be hard to see, but if this ball is touched by someone who isn't eligible to touch it, you could have ineligible, which, I mean, maybe kind of hits the number 74 there. It's hard to tell. It's like it hits him in the helmet, maybe? I don't know. It's hard to tell, but like I said, if you're going to have a legal forward pass, that's also something you got to look for. Make sure it's not touched by someone who is ineligible to touch it. So, I know it's a hard call, maybe nitpicking a little bit, but, you know, still got to do it. Alright, let's look at some DPIs. This one, I think this is a crew of 5. I see a guy in the middle of the field. At first I thought it was a crew of 7. I think it's a crew of 5 though. I don't see side judge there. So it looks like this is probably going to be DPI. I don't think this is just incidental contact. It looks like he goes right at him. See how he looks at him and then makes that dive. So this should be defensive pass interference. This is not just incidental contact. A little hard to see in a crew of 5 because the back judge there, you're kind of in, you're running not to get beat. But you know, we got to be in a position, especially crew of 5, we got to be in a position where we can see this. So now we're gonna have these next two. I think these are weak DPI calls. You want something that stands out. To me, that does not stand out as anything. Yeah, he's not looking back, but you know, remember we don't have face guarding anymore. They have to make contact, and the contact has to be substantial. You gotta be able to put it in a category. And I think sometimes when we try to put in a category, we just do a catch-all of early contact. But remember, early contact has to be, you know, it has to be sufficient enough where it disrupts, it illegally disrupts, or maybe say unfairly disrupts the receiver's ability to catch the ball. It's a little like it rises to that level here. Don't have an end zone at that angle. This next play, though, we got another very similar, and this one do have an end zone angle up. This one, to me, is a little more cut and dry, not DPI. Here you got the end zone angle. Yeah, I don't think there's anything there. You know, that constitutes DPI. Does he touch his hands there? Yeah, but the receiver still is able to go with both hands. And contact doesn't happen. I mean, substantial contact doesn't happen until well after the play. So, I think those are two weak DPI calls. You know, we're going to go DPI, they got to stand out. They have to really be something that really disrupts that receiver's ability to catch the ball. Has some more targeting. Both of these are going to be kind of open field on the receiver. Whoops. This is a good call for targeting. I think we get like 3 flags on this play. One of those flags kind of like a Me Too flag. But you got the launch going in. He's going in high. You got helmet to helmet. You know, that was not an attempted tackle. That was just an attempt to punish. This does not rise to the level of ejection because you don't have that standover and taunting that we kind of had the last one. Nevertheless, a good call for targeting. Very similar one here. Now, for both of these plays, and I've heard coaches say they teach this, especially on this play. I heard a coach say, "Well, that's what we teach." That's fine. I get teaching. You want to punish these receivers coming in the middle, but you got to do it in a level that doesn't rise to target. And how you can do that as a player, or as you're coaching players to do that, just get these players to wrap up. If they wrap up and they're attempting to make a tackle, then this isn't going to be target. 9 times out of 10, let me put it out. I don't want to say always. 9 times out of 10, if there's an attempt at a wrap up on this play, then you're not going to have target. But there's no attempt to wrap up there. He just goes in shoulder, make it look like a tackle, like you're trying to tackle. Same thing with this play. There's no attempt at a wrap up. He just goes in and hits this guy. That one he launches shoulder. That's not a tackle. Alright. If you're going to teach your DBs, punish these receivers, go after them like that, again, that's fine. But it's got to be within the confines of the rules. So if they wrap up, 9 times out of 10, we're not going to have a foul. And that's what we're teaching the officials. Don't call that. If there's an attempt at a wrap up, attempt at a tackle. Alright, you always got to be on your toes here. This one's close because this receiver in the white, or K player in the white, he's sliding out of bounds. He's close there. He's touching it. It looks like he might be out right there while he's touching the ball. So if that's the case, this is a penalty. But we got to be aware here. And this is hard to see. I'm just going slow frame by frame. We don't have that luxury on the field, obviously. But we do have to be alert. Deep, you might can help out with this. This would be one of those where deep and wings kind of work together here. But we got to be able to see that because right there, it looks like he's out and he's touching the ball. So that would be a flag. Nonetheless, if you go with he's not out of bounds, this is K's ball because we have 10 yards, hit the ground. So we got to be alert, get ready for anything, especially on kickoffs. All right, let's look at some blindside blocks again. Looking right in this area. Hard to see there. This might be a little bit easier for us. This is a blindside block. No open hands. The defender does not see it coming. It is forceful contact. To me, that's forceful contact. I know we can probably split hairs on whether or not that's forceful contact. That's what we need to consider, that forceful contact in regards to a blindside block. Because this foul here can easily be avoided if he just comes in with open hands, and then it avoids all that. And that's what we're trying to teach. We're trying to teach these players, and they get in situations like this, stick those hands out there, accomplish the same thing, but you can do it legally. So, for those intents and purposes, this is forceful contact, and this is an illegal blindside block. Alright, this one we get to where there's kind of this misconception that if you have a hit in the front, then you can't have a blindside block. And that's not the case. So we're looking right here. That is a blindside block. Yeah, I know he hit him in the front, but it's still a blindside block. Because it's where the defender's attention is. If their attention is not on the block coming, then it's a blindside block, regardless of the location of the foul. So, you can see his attention's on that runner, not on here. And again, this whole foul can be avoided with just open hands. So, that's what we're trying to get across to players and coaches. So, when you see plays like that, we need to flag it for blindside block, illegal blindside block. Here we're going to have an example of a player delivering a block from the blind side, but with open hands, which then makes it legal. Right here around the 40. There you go. He could have blown that player up. He chose not to. There you go. Open hands. We can't call that. I mean, they passed on. They did not call this. But you know what I'm saying is that's a legal play. We cannot call that. Accomplishes the same goal. It just does it legally without costing his team 15 yards. So that's what we're trying to get across to these players and coaches. Just boom, push them. Still knocks him to the ground. Still takes him out of the play. So now you did it legally. So great non-call there, and that's exactly what we want. We'll circle back to weak calls. We want substantial calls. So we call that, I don't know, they went with blindside block or block in the back. To me, that's neither. That's a whiff. Yeah, it takes him on the play, not really illegally. I mean, you can't call that a hit in the back. And you definitely can't call it a blindside block because it's not forceful. I mean, that's a weak call. So let's stay away from those. Alright, this is one we take the part 2 test. Oops. So, just break it down. We have a backward pass as correctly indicated by the line judge there. Good job. This moves in the camps. The line judge's call. Alright. So, we got it. Correctly indicating backward pass. And good job too, line judge, holding that out there. So everyone knows, hey, holding it out there for a while. We all know it's a backward pass. And now we have a forward pass. I'm going to give the line judge some credit and assume that he is now indicating we have a forward pass. Hopefully he is. But this is for sure a forward pass. So, we have our one forward pass for the play. And he's going to chunk it downfield for our second forward pass. So at this point, we should have a flag on the ground for an illegal forward pass. Now, we have another DPI call here. Not sure which one it was, if it was that one or that one. Either way, I think, I don't think these are as weak a DPI call. That one, maybe, now that I think about it. It looks like the contact occurs after the ball is already past them. But, regardless, for intents and purposes of this play, we're going to say good DPI call. So can you have a defensive pass interference on an illegally thrown forward pass? No, you can't. Now, as a deep official, do we know that this pass is illegally thrown forward? No, we don't. So just throw the flag like normal, like you normally would. If you have DPI there, and then we'll just keep officiating. And then at the end of the play, we'll get together. Hey, what did you got? Illegal forward pass. That was the second forward pass. Hey, deep, what did you have? Oh, I had DPI. Okay, can't have DPI. Wave that flag off. Go the illegal forward pass. The conversation should take less than a minute. Which is what this crew did. They did this correctly. So again, let's show you. This is why we have the part 2 test. Plays like that. There's another one. This is a weird one. You won't see this on the test. That counts as a forward pass. Alright. He basically threw the pass forward to himself. Why does it count as a forward pass? Because same reason as the first clip at the very beginning of this training tape. Ball is coming forward, or the arm is coming forward, ball comes out while his arm is coming forward, so we're going to call this a forward pass. Alright, so there's your first forward pass. If he catches himself. And then there's the second forward pass. Good job, referee. We're dropping the flag right there. This is correctly officiated. You can see a little closer view of it. The arm's coming forward, ball comes out, so we have an illegal forward pass. Or we have, at this point, it's just a forward pass. Alright, we got to get these players up on the line. These two right there, that's not on the line. They got to be clearly on or clearly off. Clearly on, clearly off. Same thing here. I don't think either one of these are on. So clearly on, clearly off. And finally, a few plays later, we finally called it. Because this is way off right here. And it's not even close. So we got to get these players clearly on or clearly off line scrimmage. Alright, we teach camps, we harp on the goal line. Goal line, goal line, goal line. We have to have eyes on the goal line. We're snapping from inside the 5. So wings, they got to snap. You have to be at the goal line. Here we are standing between the 2 and the 1. And we never get to the goal line. Never. So if he squirts out right here and crosses the goal line, we have no eyes on it. That's not very good. Have to have eyes on the goal line when we get that close. Alright, let's watch the action right here. Bottom of your screen. So we correctly call this a face mask. And since his helmet came off due to the foul, he does not have to sit out the next play. He can stay in on this play. But here also, though, once we throw the flag, let's keep officiating. And please stay off the field. We do not work on the field. So stay off the field. Good call on the face mask. And again, since that helmet came off due to a foul, he can stay in the next play. Alright, this is a big no-no, guys. We're going to have the helmet come off of a runner, and we're still going to let him run. This is a huge, huge safety risk. This needs to be killed immediately. So once that helmet comes off, we need to be killing this play. Blowing whistles left and right. When we drop the flag, that's good, but we got to be blowing our whistles loud, coming the field. We have got to stop this play. Because this is a huge liability risk. His safety is in very, very grave danger here. So it looks like we finally stopped it, but we've got to stop it way before then, because he could have seriously gotten hurt. Alright, so we got to be, all 6 of you blowing your whistle if you can. Got to stop these plays. Alright, a couple things on this play. If this lateral is forward, this is at least lateral. So there's no such thing, really there's no such thing as a lateral pass. It's either forward or backwards. This right there, if this line to line, like still same like yard line or whatever, is forward. And that's what we have here. Staying at the 44, throws it from the 44, catches at the 44. This is a forward pass. But instead we let it go. And still don't have, we also don't have an indication from the line judge. Let's get something. So everyone knows here. There's also no need to be this close to the ball. Let's stand back a little bit. Because if he kicks it out of bounds here, we really don't know whether he has this ball in bounds or not. So, this lateral is forward. Also in this, so this is, we talked about, we think back to the targeting before, when we talked about, hey, you got to wrap up, make an attempt at a tackle. And this is it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. He still hits them hard, still blows them up a little bit, but he makes an attempt to wrap up. So that's clean. That's what you want. You can still do that on a receiver across the middle and punish him. Like I said, let's just get a wrap up here. An attempt at a tackle. My receiver's still gonna think twice about coming in the middle if you hit him like that. Alright, looking back at the bottom of the screen again. So we have a sweep all the way on the other side of the field, and we're going to call this foul. You don't see the flag come up. Line judge calls a foul on these two over here for holding. If the play's on the other side of the field, do not throw that flag. Alright, just that it's a talking to, because it has no impact on the play whatsoever. And it's one of those situations where once you drop it, we really can't wave this foul off. We kind of just have to let it go, because it is technically a foul. So we can't just go back and say, okay, well, we're going to wave it off due to philosophy. But, we gotta, the best thing in this situation to do is just not throw it the first one. There's no impact on the play whatsoever. So, let's not call that. Alright, go back to some of the sideline work on the goal line that we talked about in camps. So here we're going to have a play at the goal line. We're far back, deep as far back off the pylon, and the end line is not threatened. The goal line is a threat, so we're going to stay on the goal line and just watch this as it occurs. We're looking at the feet first, like we talked about in camps. Feet first, and then we're coming up to the ball. Feet are good, so as long as he holds on to that ball, which he does, then we have a touchdown. So, goal line is the threat here, not the end line. Just hold that goal line, follow it as he comes down. Same thing on this. This is a different play. And if you know the end line is not going to be a threat, we don't have to move off that goal line. And then it's just one step, and you're in position to make a call. Be as still as you can. If you don't want to be moving, just one step, and you're right there. Just like we talked about in camps. Alright, there's some question about whether or not we should have a late hit on this. So let's look at this one. We looked at late hit in the last video as well. So the hit happens inbounds. That's where our initial hit happens. And then everything else is just a continuation. It's kind of got him by the leg, so, he probably doesn't want to let go. The reason this is not going to be a late hit is because really you're looking for extra action after this contact. So he contacts inbounds, kind of drives him out. That's fine. What we're looking for in order to throw for a late hit is, some kind of extra action. Does he push him? Does he pull him? Something extra. Don't really have that here. He's got him by the leg, so there's really not much he can do at that point. If he lets him go, he's going to fall. So we're just looking for extra action. All right, let's look at a couple of touchbacks. We're going to have an interception inside the 5. Interception happens and it's about 3 to 4. And then he comes into the end zone. A couple of things here. First of all, this is momentum. This falls under the momentum exception. So we want to put our beanbag right there where he comes down, about 3. Beanbag there. And then they're going to get the ball, bring it back out to the 3. Another thing, too, if you do have a touchback, there's no need to stop the clock, then signal touchback. You can just come up and signal touchback. Just like a touchdown signal automatically means stop the clock. Same thing with a touchback. So, if you have a touchback, just come up and signal touchback. But in this situation, this should be the momentum exception. So we want to drop the beanbag right there at the 3, and then stop the clock and come out and put the spot at the 3. Alright, last play. This is a weird one. A block punt in the end zone, right there at the goal of the end line. Referee's in good position to make this call. I'm not going to nitpick too much whether or not he had possession of it inside. I think he did. But I also have the benefit of slow motion. The white hat there has to make this in real time. But one thing this is not a touchback. This is a safety. If you're going when he doesn't have possession, it's a safety. But again, I think he does, but it's close. I'm not going to nitpick on this. But to his credit, it looks like he does come back and signal safety. So the main thing you take away from this is punt block at the back of the end zone, but they don't get possession of it in the end zone. It's safety. If they do, then they have a touchdown. But again, he's in the right position. I'm not going to nitpick on that. Kudos to him for getting in position because he's, he had about 8 yards to go. You get in that position in a short amount of time, and he's there. So, good job to him on that. Alright, that's it for this week. Good luck for week 3. Now, after week 3, we're quarter way through the season already. So, good luck this week. Stay safe. If you're in southeast Georgia, stay dry, stay safe, and stay out of the path of that hurricane. Hope you all are safe down there.